Listen, I don't need your sass, all right? I can do just fine with me and my best friend Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh.
She was a fairy.
Hello there, Frogman, better known as Ryan, and today is a great day, a Sonic day. Some people might look forward to paydays, some people plan for birthdays. I have Sonic games to get me through the week, and this week, I've got Sonic Unleashed to do so. And in the name of getting to the point, I've compiled a list of stuff that I enjoyed all throughout the game. Sonic.
Sonic Unleashed was released on November of 2008, developed by Sonic Team and published by Sega, preceded by a certain other entry. Maybe some other time. The game starts out with a cutscene before we even get to the menu.
Oh wow, it must be real special since you showed it before the menus. Oh my god!
This cutscene fucking slaps. This set is super cool on Eggman's spacecraft thing. Sonic and Eggman themselves are particularly expressive and cartoony. The action is an absolute rush to follow, and it tops it up with a transformation to Super Sonic. Wait a second. This isn't the end of the game, right? Normally we spend all the time finding the Chaos Emeralds.
If you played nice, I wouldn't have to break all your toys.
Oh, I see. That's the hook. Eggman actually beats Super Sonic, using the energy to fire his laser and release some ancient deity beneath the world, separating the continents as a result. That's probably fine. On a personal note, Sonic has, for some reason, been transformed, shifting from hedgehog to the furrier wolf hedgehog thing. God, imagine his cock in this form. Eggman, not wanting to deal with the form's new cock, ejects Sonic and the game begins proper. With another cutscene. Sonic crashes to Earth along with the burnt out Chaos Emeralds. We also see a passed out creature on the ground who is just so wacky. We'll get more into this Ulcerva character later because the sun has risen, Sonic has returned to his original cock, and we're on to the first level.
No, that's fine. A full second of gameplay would have been too much.
Looking back, I regret making such a big deal about Broforce not telling me how to play, because the opposite of that is far more annoying to deal with. Sonic Unleashed feels it necessary to bombard you with tutorials about every little basic action Sonic can perform, stopping the game and forcing you to follow through.
Hey, press A to jump. Good. Do a homing attack. Great. Press Z to drift. Amazing. Use the Sonic boost to beat the enemies.
Not good enough, do it again. Good lord, Sonic Team. Could this have not been one large level to naturally progress through? Keep in mind, every level we go through hides behind its own loading screen, making this beginning take forever. And once we get done with it all...
It won't, right? I guess even Sonic was sick of those levels.
Getting back on track, we start the first actual non-tutorial level, and... oh my god, is it hard to get a handle on. All this stopping momentum and tutorializing, and the first level still feels like a shit show because I have no way to anticipate what's about to come and what actions to do where. To be fair, Sonic levels are rather trash on the first go-around. Really, the only goal one should have on the first run is to just get to the end, and on that merit, I'm having a good time, although I would advise against ever using the boost until you know what the level layout is, because it's an easy way to make yourself look like a fool. Oh, Jesus! Okay. In fact, plan for every first go-through of a level to be a struggle. Sonic is super difficult to control unless you know ahead of time where you want him to go. The number of walls in this world with a Sonic-shaped face imprint is vast due to the amount of turns appearing out of complete nowhere and the drift function being absolute trash. It's also worth mentioning that you only have 2 lives to make through any given level. I don't know how to get more, and it's not nearly enough. There were multiple times I was just trying to make it to the end, only for the slippery and imprecise controls to rob me of an early life, and then I'd have to restart like it was a Cuphead boss. I can't help it that I have no idea what's about to come up, and I lose a life because of it. And even when I do know, Sonic's abilities are actively trying to end him. Using the boost at any point where you're not 100% certain it won't kill you is bound to result in losing control and dying in some crazy way. But I was hoping that we could corral it at least a little. As we are right now, activating the boost launches you in whatever direction for a good 2 seconds. And that's a top speed 2 seconds where you can't turn, you cannot slow down, and you can't even jump in time to avoid obstacles. And when you've only got 2 lives, mistakes add up and suddenly you're out of lives and your friends are making fun of you. Nobody say anything. Nobody look. I'm saying nothing but judging silently. By the way, I'm trying to stream every Friday. Come on down if you want to poke fun at me. Go back for the rig. Bold of you to assume I can. With all my gripes on how hard it is to control, when it comes together, these levels are pretty fun. Getting into that flow state of running through the level, collecting rings, using enemies as stepping stones, and blasting through the enemies is really fun. And it's punctuated by Sonic yelling every time your ring gauge increases or you fly through those rings that inexplicably propel you forward. Have we ever found an explanation as to why this happens? They're just floating rings. Why do they make you fly and do tricks? Well, since I've got no other frame of reference, I'm just going to assume Sonic swings his massive cock to propel him forward. Completing the level cock intact, we come to a cutscene where the dumb creature ignores the plot to get ice cream from Dan Green?
Looks good, don't it? The whole world can come tumbling down, but they'll still line up for a taste.
They get ice cream, I presume without paying for it, and Sonic decides to call the dumb thing Chip because he really likes chocolate chips. I guess? Chip loves the name, even though he can't hold or eat the ice cream cone, and that's our scene. Now we have the hub world, or as I've grown to call it, a class act and wasting my fucking time. All that needs to be done here is to go to different areas and talk to the locals. Once you find the right local, you're directed to the Gaia Gate, in which you can open up doors to enter more levels. And I don't want to come across the wrong way, but I fucking hate the Gaia Gate's implementation. The way you open these back doors, let's just call them main story doors, is by finding a sun or moon tablet through the hub people. Listen, I get that there needs to be some other gameplay element other than Sonic running fast, but talking to these bozos does absolutely nothing for me. Even with Sonic's impressive cock, 80% of them have nothing useful to say, spouting on about who knows what and wasting time. All you need to do to progress is to go to every area that says new, and eventually you'll get to the stuff and continue. And it's exactly this kind of brain-dead progression that, oh my god, they hide secret items in here! Great, now I have to exhaust every notification before moving on, wasting even more time.
So you don't like this part? Yeah. You want to get it over with as soon as possible? Yeah. But you won't? Yeah. Because they're hiding secret items that you won't even look at. Yeah. You're f***ing stupid!
This would be more bearable if these people posed any sort of significance to the plot. Sonic never directly helps these people. They are nowhere to be seen once the levels start, and some of them piss about because they're sneezy or something. Whatever though. Move on through the levels and the sun sets on Sonic and Chip. Seriously, imagine that cock. This is the Werehog form, the furrier, more physical, stretchy-armed version of Sonic that, while interesting, doesn't brighten the day of anybody around him.
Oh, it's hopeless! What good is ice cream at a time like this?
This begins the night levels. And more tutorials. These ones are even more insufferable given you pass through the same areas you received the tutorials, making me wonder why we couldn't have had just one long level with a punked bitch Chip stopping our gameplay like he already does. But what is it he's telling us, I hear from within the walls, making me very concerned? Well, he's telling us about the combat and how to fight these shadow blobs. Combat is done through the utilization of shaking both the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, and boy howdy does it not deliver the intended experience. I'm just imagining some stressed out Sega game designer tasked with shoehorning in Wii motion controls of the game and landing on implementing into the combat.
It was done with Wii Boxing. We could do it here.
Only for the most optimal way of play to look a little something like... It is so difficult to gauge any sort of feedback from the combat in Werehog mode. I never got heads or tails of how I was performing any of the combos. I'd mostly just flail about pointing Sonic in the general direction, and for the most part, it worked. I got upgrades all throughout the game for more combos, but I never needed to evolve my waggle combat more than what I'd like to refer to as the Gmod ragdoll technique. And boy howdy, I had wished that were the end of it, but it seems to me that the Werehog sections were tailor-made to be as unintuitive and hard to control as possible. Sometimes attacks just miss enemies. I'm facing the right way and swinging. What am I doing wrong here? The enemies are really uninspired, being various forms of shadow blobs with a late game turning them red. Ooh, spooky. And the fact that this one music track plays for every damn fight! I cannot believe that this was a conscious choice. It had to be a situation where they didn't get enough time to put more music into the fights, because I can't imagine somebody playing this, hearing the song over and over again, thinking,
This is exactly what I envisioned.
all it serves to do is turn your brain off because the combat is so damn repetitive and not challenging in any way. The only explanation I can think of is that it might be some secret Winter Soldier style trigger that I'm being conditioned to respond to.
Hello, everyone. A little nervous today, but don't worry about me. Okay, my presentation is all about... We are gathered here today to remember... I think you're making a lot of progress. You're realizing that not everything is your fault.
And what if I told you this isn't even the worst part of the Werehog stages? What if I told you that they implement unintuitive waggle controls into basic movement? What if I told you that Sonic's movement is super slippery, making basic platforming an unnecessary challenge? What if I told you that Sonic's massive cock gains more power with more rings? God, I wish. Playing as the Werehog just isn't fun. The movement is sluggish and slippery. Please note, this is my tightest turn radius. Mid-air control is super unresponsive and hard to handle, making the most basic of jumps a coin flip of whether I'll fall and lose one of my 2 lives. And I've got a real bone to pick with the stretchy hand movement too. And many places will require you to hold B and utilize motion controls to progress. It's unintuitive on how these things are implemented. You grab a pole, and your natural instinct is to press up on the control stick to go up. Instead, you gotta shake the controllers to go up? F***ing what? They need to show the graphic every time you encounter this, because nobody naturally thinks to swing the remote to go up. It just feels like a shoehorned in motion control garbage. And that's not mentioning all the sections where you need to swing from side to side, and Sonic just doesn't do it? I hold B, jump at a thing, expecting Sonic to grab on like he's grabbing his massive cock, and he just doesn't. And the fact that each night level spans almost 6 to 7 minutes each really drags out these segments. I absolutely dread doing these because I can feel my brain smoothing out and becoming dumber, which is not helped by our embarrassing chode of a side character in Chip. I've aired my grievances about him interrupting gameplay to teach us the most trivial controls, but he goes a step further by playing to the audience like we're 5 years old.
Look, Sonic, a gate. Maybe we can find a switch to open it. Hey, Sonic, there are things we need to get. This door is glowing.
Shut the fuck up, Chip! I can figure this out! Some may point to this game being made for kids, and fair, I guess, but do you really want it to be like this? Kids grow up and eventually learn about Sonic's massive cock. Do you want them to look back on this experience and realize they were being talked down to and belittled the whole time? And Chip's dumbing down of the experience bleeds into the cutscenes as well. While the main characters are saying things, stitching together what little plot we have, Chip is off doing who knows what and being trademarked wacky. Like if this were made in 2024, Chip would be playing Subway Surfers the whole time. And in case you've noticed, yes, there are other characters, but they're not worth talking about. The most useful, I guess, is Dr. Pickle, who's voiced by an Egyptian pharaoh. But all he really does is tell you where to go in this mind-numbing menu-based hub world. And quite frankly, I'm starting to clock out. The experience as a whole is just one big slog to get to the moments where it feels like a fun Sonic game. And those moments happen very sparsely when you're trying to make progress. I made the mistake of trying to complete this game without my friends watching, and I was genuinely starting to go insane. What do you want me to do? I've done what I think I need to do in that section, and yet you tell me that I fall on my face. Is this life? Is this an allegory? Are you telling me that Sonic is just an allegory for my life? I do what I think is good and fall on my face anyway? Yeah, why? No! Like and subscribe. But let's finish this off. Let's talk the bosses. They are okay. Werehog bosses have you fight Gaia beasts with predictable attack patterns and gimmicks. I had more trouble with the controls than the fight itself. And the daytime bosses are variations on Eggman robots that had me the most engaged, but I don't think it was for the right reasons. I found it funny how Eggman says the same thing twice when taking damage in this fight.
Jim, I told you those were variation lines!
For some reason, I fell off the track on a segment that I had no control over. That was fun. Other than that, these were all simple dumb too. Each one is a variation of dodge the laser beams and hit them with Sonic's massive cock when he gets close. And that's it. Defeating a boss restores a Chaos Emerald and replaces a continent to its rightful spot, with the final level taking us to Eggman Land. Woo! Now we get to put together all of our experiences in a showcase of this game's strengths. Shit, fuck, damn it, fuck, shit, damn it, what the fuck?
Since when has this game demanded things from me?
I was cruising along just fine, letting my brain think of other things, and all of a sudden Eggman Land comes by, smacks down my ice cream, calls me a little baby, pushes me down the stairs, and bonks me on the head. Out of left field, I need to make these drift turns with no safeguards. These wavy pathways are atrocious to run through, and to top it all off, right at the end, there's this electric fuck which protects himself over a pit, and you can do nothing to stop or avoid it. It's just a lifesteal when you're already deep into the level and probably out of lives, forcing you back to the start with you and your sad, flaccid hedgehog cock and toe. After loads of struggles, the final boss reveals himself, and it's Dark Gaia, the counterpart to Chip.
Did you even explain that part?
We find out after the 6th Emerald, Chip is the light form of Gaia and the counterpart to Dark Gaia. He tries to leave, Sonic won't let him, and this was my genuine reaction. Dark Gaia awakens, sucks the dark energy right out of Sonic's massive cock, and removes his werehog form. Chip calls upon the Gaia temples, and they all come to him to form one big golem made from the temples. Dodge with the stick, swing the remote or nunchuck to punch, both to use both hands. It doesn't tell you this, but the punch only lands when his hands aren't up, and it took me a long ass time to figure that out. Beat that form and it gives you a hug, giving Sonic the opportunity to attack Dark Gaia himself. Run through a course in the rooms to reach a ramp where Sonic swings his massive cock to literally fly to Gaia's eye and... I must go. After 3 hits, Dark Gaia releases dark energy into the world.
Does this really even matter?
Gaia grows more arms and eyeballs, and Sonic does what he should have done at the start of this and absorbs the Chaos Emeralds to become Super Sonic. All you have to do here is collect rings until the boost fills up, go in the vague direction of the eye you want to target, and swing the Wii Remote to dash at the eye. And be sure to dodge the falling rocks that look a lot like meatballs. Do this enough times and Dark Gaia is defeated, rendered in this really cool looking cutscene. Oh, I guess that's it then. Sonic is too exhausted to move, and Chip tells him to live his life as he returns to the world above. Mirroring the beginning of the game, Sonic crashes into the earth, finds the jewel worn by Chip, and his voice saying he'll never forget you and he'll be here by you always. Which is pretty hilarious considering he never came back.
Overall, Sonic Unleashed lures you in with what is at this point in the series the most concentrated good part of Sonic. The amazing cutscene with the high-speed potential of daytime levels makes many claim that this is the best Sonic has ever been and is the gold standard going forward. However, I feel like the clunky controls and mechanics really hold the daytime back from being the best it can be. And that's only half of the game, with the other half being the boring, repetitive, literally one-note slogfest that is the Werehog sections that put the awkwardness of motion controls to the forefront in a poorly thought out way. It's not a good game. But it's so interesting. There's very few franchises in gaming that could have this many flaws and people still come away having a positive experience. And in some ways, I feel the same way. I guess it was the sweet release of being done with the game, the Sonic happily running away from the memory of Chip, all while endless possibilities played over the credits that made me feel absolute joy in my soul. Alternatively, it could have been the thought of Sonic's massive cock getting me through.